Welcome to Module 3, Nutritional Needs and Aging. As you can see in the cartoon, the woman says to her doctor, "I have metal fillings in my teeth. My refrigerator magnets keep pulling me into the kitchen. That's why I can't lose weight." Well, many of us struggle with weight maintenance and/or loss or gain. It could be in part because of the confusing information that comes our way in the form of commercials, studies, and even scientific recommendations. In Chapter 5, you will read about nutrition and weight management. For this module, Module 3, you'll focus on nutrition. The food guide and pyramid will be discussed and why there have been changes over the years to the food pyramid. Is it possible that the recommendations are influenced by specific food industries? Please read carefully and see if that might be a possibility. Basic Nutrition 101 includes the need for carbohydrates, fats, proteins, fiber, water, vitamins, and minerals. Review the basics of nutrition that are detailed in Chapter 5. Consider how challenging it may be to counsel and educate the older adult about changing their eating habits. Do you think economics impacts whether someone eats a healthy diet or not, and why? The impact of nutrition influences additional health issues as well. Hypertension, which is high blood pressure, diabetes, osteoporosis, autoimmune diseases, and certainly cardiac diseases. Medication usage for some treatments of some disorders can be reduced through diet and exercise. Label reading is something that a lot of us have now started to do religiously because we need to know what we're eating. And as you can see in this particular illustration, they break down the different sections of the label and encourage readers to read how many servings per container, the serving size, how many calories per serving, and then it lists out fats, saturated fat, cholesterol, sodium, total carbohydrates, and so forth. But reading the labels is going to be important for us to teach our older adults so that they can take part in their health and nutrition well-being. This is a rather interesting chart talking about the effects of aging on nutrition. And here's something we can't forget, that normal aging includes the loss of, decreased sense of, taste, smell, hearing. A lot of our older people don't have their original teeth. They may have partials, they might have dentures that may be ill-fitting or have poor dentition that needs to be repaired, which decreases their ability to eat. They have altered energy needs, decreased physical activity, and psychosocial issues, environmental, muscle loss. So the effects are listed on the chart. Please look over that and keep that in mind, because when we're trying to talk to our older adults about nutrition, keep in mind the normal aging process, and then how do you think we alter our counsel with them? Adverse effects of weight loss in the older persons include the following in that table 1. Certainly anemia if they are not taking an adequate iron intake, immune dysfunction. Again, you have to feed your body. It's like a car, you have to put gas in it, and it's the same thing with nutrition. And taking into account that a lot of times the older adult doesn't smell the food, doesn't taste the food. Remember how it was the last time you had a really bad head cold. You were blowing your nose, you couldn't smell a thing. So then everybody wants to go out to dinner, and you're sitting there. You can't smell the food, which means you can't taste the food, and you just sort of, it's not interesting. You weren't having fun. That's on an ongoing basis for our older adults. So we have to think of really creative ways to make food interesting or look good too, to try to get them to eat a healthy diet. Please review in Chapter 5 the selected nutrition topics: organic foods, junk food, fast food, coffee. We talked about sensory decline, quackery, socioeconomics and cultural sensitivity, food films, advocacy, and check out the nutritional newsletter and nutrition websites. And this is some food for thought. Keep in mind that each generation before us has had their own experiences as it pertains to good nutrition. How does economics impact good nutrition? Think about it. If you don't have a lot of money, do you think it's possible to eat healthy foods? And what if your patient or your client was born in 1925? Right now, that would make them 90 years old, perhaps. Describe their experiences during the years they were growing up, which would have been in the 30s and in the 40s. Does it matter if they lived in the city or in the country? And then how do you plan to counsel them regarding nutrition? What do you think some of their ideas about food might be?